This is Chuck Schaefer with Customer TV, and I am joined by David Laux of EC4U, based in Germany. David, thank you for joining me today.
Hi Chuck, thanks for the invitation.
David, you authored a book basically titled Sales Strategies for Small and Mid-Sized Enterprises. Help me understand, how are sales strategies and CRM strategies different for SMEs than they are for enterprise-level organizations?
The needs of an SMB towards the CRM strategy and the sales strategy changed dramatically over the last years. And from my perspective, and as we consult as well enterprise companies and SMB companies, there's not anymore a big difference, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is, let's say, where they really picked up speed big times, because, like everybody can easily go in the internet, compare products and services. So even the SMB companies need to open up their market. Yeah? They are very transparent now. So, and they need also to find their new customers, not only in their, let's say, core market like Germany or Switzerland or the US. So the customer can come from everywhere, basically. Yeah? And I think the SMB adapted that pretty well. Yeah? And as you see, the success, especially in the SMB market, also of Oracle, Microsoft and Salesforce.com, is very strong. Yeah? So let's say the huge market share which was gained by Salesforce lately was basically in that segment.
Right.
And so you see that the need and the requirement is there, and there is not an SMB version or an enterprise version. So the requirements of the SMB is almost the same from my perspective today. It wasn't like 5-6 years ago, but I think it changed big times.
Okay. Let me get another perspective on some things that are changing. You also authored a book titled Customer Relationship Management about 4.5 years ago. How has the CRM industry changed since you've written that book?
The way how relationships are built up has also changed. Yeah? So it's not like in the old days that everyone knows each other personally, and that the customer is coming in and you do only over-the-counter business. Yeah? So it's more that you have all type of relationships, and you need to really interact on all channels. Yeah? So I think the channel strategy is one key element. Yeah? So how can I really create a valuable relationship with my customer over the different channels? That it's not in the old days when we started 12 years ago, we implemented Siebel. Our first CRM projects were basically call center projects. Okay. So then suddenly sales picked up. Okay. Then we had a sales system and a call center system. And then said, okay, now we sold the products, now we need to deliver services afterwards. So then complaint management came in, and then they said, okay, now we have all the data, what can we do? So we need to run campaigns, we need to have marketing. So then, and if you follow that, for example, like the acquisition strategy of Oracle, this was exactly how they build up their CRM portfolio, basically, what is now the overall buzzword, which is covering all these elements. Yeah? And now, in addition to that, the channels has dramatically changed. So you now need to be available in the cloud on all channels. Okay, this is the next evolution. Yeah? And then social media is, for example, one thing which is now very popular, and especially here in the US. Yeah? In Europe, we see it, let's say, picking up, but there's quite some difference in the way how customers interact with social media, with their suppliers or with their partners. So there's quite a difference between US and Europe, I think.
Well, David, let me drill on some of those differences. You are the CEO of one of the best-known consultancies in what I would call German-speaking Europe. Germany, Switzerland, parts of Czech, some adjacent territories. How is CRM, or how are customer strategies different in German-speaking Europe than they might be in other parts of the world?
I think the most, or the biggest difference is when it comes to the point that how they interact with their customers, okay? And which processes are put on what channels. Yeah? So, for example, it's state of the art here in the US that you Twitter or you Facebook or you have someone responsible in an organization just checking all the social media networks for any complaints or any tips or anything, and you know, 24/7, yeah, all around the globe. And this is something which we are not seeing that it is, you know, overall, yeah, already set up in our market. Germany, for example, is a very traditional country, okay? So well known for producing cars and manufacturing and so on. It's very strong, yeah. So it's made in Germany was always a very good brand. Yeah. It's still an excellent brand. Yeah. So, and I think this means that we have an incredible high standard and expectation in quality. Germany is a little bit more traditional, yeah, and a little bit more behind, let's say it like this, yeah, in terms of adapting to new channels like social media, Twitter, Facebook, etc. But I'm sure sooner or later, yeah, they really watch big times the US, yeah, and we have international huge companies in Germany. Switzerland, just to add this, where we have also a very strong footprint, is even different from Germany because it's also very small but a very proud country, yeah? And to be Swiss is something very special. Myself, I'm German, living for the last 7 years in Switzerland. To be honest, we speak almost the same language, but it's a challenge for us and for me to really feel myself integrated in the community. The Swiss people, they are really a community, so it's quite tough to get really set up a good relationship to Swiss people and to Swiss customers. But what we see in Switzerland, because it's such an attractive country, yeah, a lot of international companies come to Switzerland for reasons like taxes and so on, yeah, and they base their European or international headquarters to Switzerland. So let's say in the old days when I came 7 years ago, we only saw foreigners basically in the banking business, so from the UK, from the US, you know, doing the private banking, investment banking. But now nearly in all industries, expats coming from outside, from all over the world, and really Switzerland is getting very, very international. In Switzerland you have basically 3 different languages, 4, but officially, or let's say unofficially 3, it's French, Italian and German. So you have an Italian part in Switzerland, you have a French part in Switzerland, and if you go there, you think you're in France, or if you go to the Italian part, you think you're in Italy. So so it's in a small country you have 3 different cultures basically, yeah, and also a completely different behavior.
It sounds as though in Switzerland, customer relationships play a bigger role. Do you find that to be an impediment as a quote-unquote foreigner from Germany trying to do business in that market?
It's a challenge, to be honest, yeah. And when I came 7 years ago, we had only the chance to gain or to win our first customers because our expertise at that time in the Siebel area was urgently needed there, and they had not really Swiss people ready to consult them on Siebel CRM at that time. And so they were willing to accept foreign support, yeah. To really get the business going, you need also a management team which is Swiss, yeah.
Sure.
Because you need those relationships, existing networks to really leverage your business.
And with that geo focus, we'll go ahead and conclude our conversation. I've been joined by David Laux, CEO of EC4U. David, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Dave. It was a pleasure.